Story time on how my dad found out I had an OnlyFans and was using it to batter his dough. Okay, so boom. I was 18 at the time I started doing my OnlyFans. My OnlyFans was doing good, so I was able to move out and get my own spot. My dad was single and he lived alone, so I always came over to visit him every now and then. I never told my dad I did OnlyFans, and when he would ask me what my job was, I would just say I work from home, doing like customer service. Well, I was servicing the customers, all right. And little did I know he was one of them. Well, one day I went to go visit my dad and he was in his room watching some TV. He told me his computer wasn't working and if I could take a look at it and fix it for him. You know, typical things that parents usually ask their kids for. So I go over to the computer to take a look at it and see what's going on. Child, little did I know once I fixed that computer, I was going to be in for a rude awakening. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how my dad found out I had an OnlyFans and was using it to batter his dough. So like I said, I went to go visit my dad and he asked me to take a look at the computer because it wasn't working. Now, when I went over to the computer, once I took a look at everything, I found out what the issue was pretty quickly. The Ethernet cable wasn't plugged all the way in, so the internet wasn't working. I plugged it back in and everything was fine. Once I refreshed everything, I know that Google restore option. Yeah, that popped up and I was like, let me restore everything for him, thinking that he was going to be happy that everything was still saved. Well, once I restored everything, 6 tabs opened up and OnlyFans was one of them. I was shocked that he even had an OnlyFans account. So I clicked on the tab and I signed in. I know, y'all probably like, why? But I mean, I was nosy. Y'all telling me I wouldn't be either. He was signed into his account, so I started looking through it. All of a sudden, my heart dropped. There was my OnlyFans and he had exclusive content. Like for part 3. Part 3 on how my dad found out I had an OnlyFans and was using it to batter his dough. So like I said, he was signed into his OnlyFans, so I started looking through it. And I found out that he was subscribed to me for a whole year. He had the year subscription. Do you hear me? He was one of the customers that were getting exclusive content. He was seeing everything. And I know y'all must be asking, why would he watch his daughter to, batter his dough? Well, he kind of doesn't know it's me. So my OnlyFans is anonymous, like this story. I wear a bejeweled ski mask in all my pictures and videos, and my name is obviously fake. My dad is watching me, and I mean all of me, but he doesn't know it's me. So I closed it and told him everything was fixed, but I had to go home. Told him that I forgot to meet up with a friend. So he said, okay, thanks, drive safe, sweetie. I cringed. Went home, had a nervous breakdown, and learned how to block him. And now I have to live the rest of my life knowing my dad used my content for battering. Story time on how I went on a Tinder date and my date tried to kill me. This story gets straight to the point, so let's get into it. Okay, so boom. I was 16 years old and I was lonely. All my friends had boyfriends, so I was always left out. But I didn't like anyone from school, so I went crazy on Tinder. Me and this guy both swiped, so we started talking. And after 2 weeks, he asked to meet up and go on a date. 2 weeks was a little fast, but again, I was lonely and I really wanted a stupid boyfriend. Don't be like me, y'all. But yeah, I went on the date and we met at a restaurant. And you guessed it, he was catfish. His picture, he was a tall, muscular guy. 6'3" with Rico Suave hair. But in person, he was bald, fat, and he was short. I was so pissed, I just wanted to turn around and leave, but he stood up to greet me, so I didn't want to be rude, so I just told myself I'll get a free meal. Y'all, during the day, I found out he was 40, like for part 2. Part 2 on how I went on a Tinder date and my date tried to kill me. Okay, so boom, like I said, I found out he was 40 and he was catfished. I had to get out of there. After dinner, I told him it was nice meeting him and that I was gonna text him once I got home. But of course, I was just gonna block him. But that's none of his business. Anyways, he asked me if I wanted him to walk me to my car. But I said, no, that's fine. At this point, I was being very standoffish because it was like, dude, get away from me. And I think he noticed. It was pretty late at night, probably like 10 p.m. So when we left the restaurant, no one was really around. At this point, I'm kind of getting a little scared, so I kind of walked to my car a little quickly, about to open my door. Then this guy comes out of nowhere right behind me and covers me with his arms and squeezes me. He covers my mouth so I wouldn't scream, and he whispered in my ear saying I was leaving with him whether I liked it or not. I tried to wiggle myself out, but I couldn't. He was too strong. And things got real. Like for part 3. Part 3 on how I went on a Tinder date and my date tried to kill me. Okay, so boom, like I said, he comes up behind me and squeezes me with his arms and covers my mouth so I wouldn't scream. I tried to wiggle my way out, but I couldn't. He was too strong. But since his arms was around my upper body and my mouth, my hand where I was holding the keys was free, but my other arm was being squeezed by him. Thank God, all I needed was that one arm. And thank God I had pepper spray attached to my keys. So I took my pepper spray, sprayed him in his eyes, and he screamed. He let me go, and that's when I took my purse to reach for my taser. And yes, I tased him. Mama ain't raised no fool. I ran to my car, opened the door, and got home immediately. By the time I pulled out the parking lot, he was still on the floor. I got home and told my parents everything. They called the cops to the restaurant. He was gone by the time they got there. I just thank God he didn't know anything about me. Not my home, not my school, or personal life. All he knew was my first name. So if you're dating online, be careful. Public meetups for the win. Story time on how I take showers with my dad when my mom's not home. Okay, so boom, let's jump right into it. So I'm grown, 16 years old to be exact, and I'm a woman. My dad is 38 and my mom is 50, and to be honest, she works a lot. So I'm usually home alone with my dad. Well, one day I was washing my hair and I needed to get my back washed, you know? Cause like I always struggle washing my back myself. So I called my dad and he came. With my back turned, I asked him to wash my back and he laughed. But he sure did it. We then looked into each other's eyes and both smiled and laughed again. One thing led to another and I turned around to expose my whole self to my dad and told him to come in with me. And guess what? He undressed himself, came in, and we had fun, if you know what I mean. Full-on makeout session is how it started. So now me and my dad's routine is to shower together when my mom's at work and we have lots of fun. But one day our fun was ended when all I seen was my mom opening the bathroom door and seeing my dad and I kissing, and obviously naked. Not long after that, my dad was heading to jail and my mom is putting me up for adoption. Now I'm living with a friend and have no family, so no more fun for me. Don't take showers, guys. I sneak into my mom's room every night to suck on her toes. Okay, so boom, let's jump right into it. So I'm a 12-year-old boy and I'm secretly in love with my mom. She's just an amazing human being. And she's so pretty. Unfortunately, my dad is still in our lives, so I can't really do anything. But my dad has an overnight job, so every night when he goes to work, I take my chance to sneak into my mom's room and suck on her toes. I just want to be close to her. I just want to feel her any way I can. I've been sucking on my mom's toes for a year now. And I still haven't got caught yet, so should I stop? I mean, I'm not hurting anyone. My dad tried to be in a polyamorous relationship with me and my little sister. Story time. Okay, so boom, let's jump right into it. So my dad was always a little weird with me and my little sister. He loved us, but it wasn't that fatherly love. He made subtle moves to me and my little sister, but as time went on, he started getting bold. One day, my mom was in the hospital. I don't really remember what for, maybe giving birth, I don't know. But while she was out, my dad came to me and my little sister's room and he wanted to tell us something. Obviously, that something was forcing me and my sister to secretly get into a polyamory relationship with our dad, where he would do inappropriate things to the both of us. And of course, me and my sister wanted no parts. But he wasn't asking, he was telling. He then tried to force me and my sister to, do things. And I'm not down for that, obviously, so he attacked us. Like and follow for part 2. My dad tried to be in a polyamorous relationship with me and my little sister. Story time part 2. Okay, so boom, like I said, he tried to force me and my little sister to, do things, and we weren't down for that, obviously, so he attacked us. As he's attacking us, my mom came back home, maybe after giving birth, I don't know, but she came home, saw what my dad was trying to do to us, and immediately stopped him, just in time. My mom called the cops on my dad, and he tried to escape and run away. But he should have ran faster because the cops definitely found him and took him in. That disgusting man is now behind bars, and that's where he needs to. My mom tried to have a threesome with me in a chicken coop. Story time. Okay, so boom, we're gonna go right into this one. So I live with my mom and visit my dad on the weekends. They've been divorced for years, so it's normal. What's not normal is that my mom has a new boyfriend. She seems happy, but I can't help to think she's a little bit desperate for him. She pays for everything. He moved out of his mom's house and into ours, and he's always using her car because he doesn't have one. She just does anything to make him happy, and it's just not it. But my mom took it a step too far when to please him, she involved me. We have a farm, and one day I went to go feed the chickens in the chicken coop. I walked into the chicken coop and ding, 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 you got it. My mom was on the floor with her boyfriend, on top of him, naked. I turned away in shock, about to walk away, and then her boyfriend stops me and says, like for part 2,